Well, there's a couple of things that you have to be 21. You don't have to be a citizen. You can actually be in the process of becoming a citizen, but you have to be 21 by the time you graduate. That's number one. But what I always tell everybody, particularly those that are in like high school, I go, look, if you're thinking about being a cop, you have to ask yourself if that's really what you want to do. A lot of people come on the job thinking, hey, it's a good job. You get all this vacation and I get all these benefits. Well, it's not like working for a company necessarily. It's a totally different job. You have to understand that it's a community job. Are you a person that wants to work in the community and you want to be able to help the community? Then that's a start. But you also have to have a relatively crime-free background. The police department does a very thorough background check on you once you apply and you pass the initial test. There's actually several steps in order to get there, and one of them is just passing the initial test. But there's a background test, there's a physical test, there's a mental test, and the background test is probably the toughest one for people to pass because we're people, and people make mistakes sometimes. And if you tell your background investigator, hey, you know what, when I was 15, yeah, you know what, I got in trouble, I did this and this and this. That's cool because you told your background investigator. If you did not tell your investigator and you wrote on your background sheet, no, I've never been in trouble with the police, never been in trouble with my school, never been fired from my job, and they find out then on your application, because they're going to ask everybody, they're going to go and, we have the resources to not only call people, but to look up your records, say, hey, what about this? Oh, yeah, well, I guess I forgot about that. You know what they'll tell you? Bye. Our ratio of getting hired is about one applicant will get hired to 1,000 people who will try to sign up. So 1 to 1,000. So you can imagine that. And it's very tough to get not only hired, but to get through that whole process. And then you go into the academy, which is 7 months of schooling, and you're paid right from the first day. You're on salaries, so that's a good thing. But it's a very tough process for a lot of people because that 7 months is not only physically, but it's mentally challenging. They put you to the test. They're going to work you because they want to see if you're cut out to be a cop, because it's not for everybody. And then after you're done with that, you go into probation for a year. So you'll be assigned to what we call a P1, a police officer 1. And you're going to go to a station and you're going to work with seasoned people like me, P3s, where we're going to go out into the field and we're going to go on radio calls and we're going to help people and we're going to do things for people. And I will, as a training officer, I'm going to rate you every day on things that you do. Are you able to handle the equipment? Are you able to have safe tactics? What are you doing when we're working with the public? All those things you get rated on every day for a year. You don't pass that, we tell you, thank you very much, goodbye. Our ratio for passing is pretty good. We pass, I would say the majority of people pass. The ones that don't pass are the ones that either say it's not for me or it's clearly not for them. And some of the people that it's clearly not for, it's quite obvious right from the beginning, and we actually take them aside and go, hey, look, you know what? I totally understand you maybe want to be a police officer, but maybe it's not the job that you think it is. Maybe you should really reevaluate where you are. And then after that, you get assigned as a P2, and we have over 350 jobs here in the LAPD that you can do. Then they range from being patrol officer, obviously, to investigative, to you name it, we do it. And we're like a large organization that not only is a police department, but we provide a service to the city. We do quite a bit.
Thank you for watching A Wise Way. Subscribe to stay updated, share to pass the knowledge, or view our other videos on the left.